Okay, computer says 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to start by taking attendance. Sandy Cross.
Here.
Dan Maxwell.
Present.
Heather Olmsted.
Present.
And Dean Grant.
Present.
Okay, everybody's here. That's good. Welcome, everyone. Does anyone have a written disclosure of pecuniary conflict of interest? Sandy?
No, I don't.
Dan?
Nope.
Heather?
No, I don't.
And Dean?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next item on our agenda is petitions and delegations. We have Susan Church with us tonight from Blue Sky. So I'm going to pass controls over to her and let her talk to us for a while.
Thanks, Mayor Pinnell. Thanks for having me join you tonight. This is my first council meeting, my first virtual council meeting of the new year. So I appreciate very much the invitation to join you. I understand you have questions for me, so maybe what I'll do is just give a quick overview of where we are with our regional broadband project, which of course Calvin is part of. And that came out of the committee, which I believe Cindy was part of, our broadband committee, working last year over time to develop a regional project, one of three actually across our service delivery area. Blue Sky Net, as you know, is the technology arm of Blue Sky Economic Growth Corporation. And our major role is to develop technology and access to broadband and technology adoption across our region, which stretches from North Bay in the west to Manitoulin Island, in the east to Mattawa, down south to the Muskokas, and up north to the Temagami area. So essentially our work is to work with municipalities to help them along the way in developing broadband access to your citizens. So essentially what we've done with our regional projects is we have split our service area into three very large regional projects, because we understood from very good relations that we have with our government officials and funding agencies that regional projects are really the projects that they're looking to fund. And so we decided that we would look sort of North Bay to the east to Mattawa, and of course including Calvin. Looking south down to the Almaguin area is a second project, and looking west over to the Sudbury, Greater Sudbury area is our third project. So let's talk about what we did with the plans for all of those projects. We applied to the CRTC for funding. They have a $750 million fund. That was applied to in the spring of 2019. We still have not heard anything about that particular fund. The provincial government came through with some funding under the ICON program. That funding went in on December the 11th, those funding applications. The actual date for closure of those applications is January the 15th, I think just passed. And we will, of course, hear about those in due course. The last funding opportunity that we have is the Universal Broadband Fund. And that fund is due January the 15th. So that's when, ICON was due January 28th. Universal Broadband Fund applications are due on the 15th of February. So we are just about to submit that application. I was going to hit the submit button tonight just before this meeting. So rest assured that will go in from there. So how did we come to these particular regional projects? We did a request for proposal that was done about 2 years ago. Under proper procurement policy, we do that when we're looking to find vendor partners, as we needed to do for each one of these applications. Municipalities can't apply on their own. Not-for-profit corporations can't apply on their own. You have to have a vendor that is an internet service provider partner with you to do so. NetSpectrum, who is an incumbent that I think you know well in this area, was the winning applicant to that process. And so they are our internet service provider for this particular project. So essentially what it's going to do for the community of Calvin, I think that's where, you know, your citizens are most interested to know about, is we're essentially going to increase the height of, now when I say we're going to do this, if we're successful in funding, there are community consultation processes that have to take place so that your citizens are well aware of what this project will entail. And of course, so will the mayor and council. And basically, we're looking to extend the tower that is near to the municipal office now by about 20 feet. The process that is going to take place since that original tower was put in is that the equipment is much better now. And in terms of upgrading that tower, we're looking to bring at least 174 of your residential properties, 47 of your agricultural properties, and 29 seasonal properties to 50 by 10 service, which is the required service by the CRTC. So essentially, the rest of the project will help Calvin in terms of increased backbone capacity. That's what will allow us to increase the capacity to 50 by 10 service. And essentially adding the multi-point radios on the towers that are all going to talk to each other will increase the transmission of data so that it will be faster and it will work more efficiently in the Calvin area. So essentially that's what's happening with the broadband projects. The contribution that we're looking for from the federal government is approximately 50%. The vendor is contributing 30%, 25% rather, and 25% from the province. And we're not looking for anything from the municipality, of course, except for the ability to increase the height of the tower that's near to your office. Do you have any questions about the project?
Sandy?
I did. I did. But,
no, I don't.
But
Okay. Dan?
No questions. Sounds really good.
yeah.
Heather?
Yeah, I did. You answered all of them because sounds like a great plan. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, Councillor Olmsted. We're pretty excited because we've had 2 successes so far. You've probably heard about the Chisholm project recently in the news. That project's been ongoing for almost going on 4 years now. And what happened was when the province decided to come out with the ICON Fund, all of the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund applications, which is where this one was sitting all this time, stood down in favor of the provincial one. Just like many years ago, we used to put applications into FedNor, and they stood down in favor of national funding programs. And so the same thing happened with this Chisholm one. And I mean, I really didn't know that we would be successful when that happened, and we were, and that was really exciting. And then I would also share with you that with the Universal Broadband Fund, there is a rapid response program that asked for projects that could be done very quickly. And so we submitted an application to that, and we were successful with that one for the Wahnapitae First Nation. So I'm feeling on a roll, you know. If I could go to Vegas, I would, because I'm very hopeful. Northern Ontario has really been very much left behind in terms of the digital divide. And I think we've worked very hard. I myself sit on the AMO policy table where we advise the provincial government on policy matters to do with broadband. We have brought our voice loud and clear from Northern Ontario, and we're very hopeful that this time around with all these funding envelopes that we will hopefully be successful. So that's where we're at with that one. I appreciate your support so much on the broadband efforts. You provided a very good letter of support that I know is going to be helpful for us. It was very direct and to the point, and we're hopeful. So everybody, keep your fingers crossed in Calvin.
Dean, do you have any questions for Susan?
Oh, sorry. No, thank you, Susan, for coming tonight to help explain a little bit better. I think that's a great project. And I don't have any questions about what you've talked about, but I did have an additional question whenever that's appropriate. So I was wondering about the sting policy that is recommended for Calvin. And we're going to be discussing that later on tonight in our meeting. And I was wondering, I'm having a hard time understanding how that's a positive thing to include increased development of towers. And I just wanted to give a little background on why I was saying that. Maybe you can comment. Industry Canada is already regulating the towers are the main regulator, and their application is quite stringent as far as I'm concerned. And I think that by layering another layer of regulation, it might make it more difficult we're essentially doubling applications.
Can I maybe just answer that there before you go on? That might help you a whole lot.
Yes, thank you.
What happens is, if a municipality does not have a siting policy, then it falls to the Industry Canada policy. So that's why it's very beneficial for every municipality to have one. And basically what it comes down to is this. If the land use authority, which in this case, of course, is the municipality of Calvin, has worked with a vendor, say they come to you and they want to put a tower in your community. And they have provided a package with lots of information, and you feel that you have enough information to move it forward to an open public meeting. And so you would pass a municipal resolution stating that you would have an open meeting for the public where you could provide that information to them. All you need to do as a council is to provide a letter of concurrence to the vendor. And that makes Industry Canada very happy. They don't need to be involved if you have a siting policy or if you have a mechanism in place that clearly sets out how you would approve. Where they want to get involved is if you don't have one, and then it defaults to the Industry Canada policy. So it's not a layering of more bureaucratic stuff. It's one or the other.
Okay, thank you, Susan, because that makes a significant difference in my thought process here. I was under the assumption we were layering, and that'll change the discussion later.
And I'll give you an example as to, because I'm so very sure of this, I want you to feel confident in the information I give you. Right now, there's a little project taking place in the Magnetawan area. It was the result of a SenGen application that we participated in as well. And there's 3 towers in that community. And so that requires a lot of, dialogue and information to make sure that where those towers are going to be situated is going to bode well with the citizens. And so the vendor provided lots of information to the municipality. And then the municipality had put that information up on their website, and they allowed 30 days for their citizens to respond. If within that 30 days they didn't hear from anybody, they called for a public meeting to give the public one last chance to have their say in case they missed it on the website or what have you. And if no one attends that meeting with concerns, then the municipality is issuing a letter of concurrence. And that's it. That's how it happens. So it would only happen that you would have to engage the Industry Canada siting policy, which can be very onerous. There's many layers to that particular policy. And that would only be if you had nothing. If you had never pondered this or you had never given thought to it, and a vendor came to you and you basically said, I don't know, maybe, so if you understand what I'm saying, as long as you have in your policies something that sets out that you would like to see, for example, 30 days of consultation, then you're good. And if you as a council feel that you're confident in issuing that letter of concurrence, that's all you need.
Thank you, Susan.
You're very welcome.
We're talking about the tower at the landfill site, right? Being extension put on that tower?
Yes.
Okay. And is there going to be like a bandwidth increase as well?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It'll go to
Okay.
50 by 10.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Yep.
That's
And
the
that's,
questions I have.
and that has to be that way in order to take advantage of any of the funding. The minimum speed has to be 50 by 10, and you have to have capacity to be able to increase that. And the particular type of Cambian equipment that's being used for the transmission of the signal does have the scalability. If, for example, you had a very large business that needed something much more robust than 50 by 10, there could be ways of increasing that just for that one particular business.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cindy, would you have any questions?
Actually, I think Susan already answered it. I was just going to ask her about what the process was for how Chisholm got their new towers.
Sure.
But she's covered that, so thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing too that I'll just add, because, you know, in the case of Chisholm, they decided to use some of the infrastructure funding money that they had received a few years back that they had tucked away for a rainy day. And, you know, that's certainly something that helps. In Northern Ontario, it's not a model that we look for when we're filling out funding applications, because we know how hard it is to keep up with all of the things that you already have to do as a municipality with the tax dollars that you have. And so in the case of Chisholm, they knew they thought they would tuck that away for that purpose. And so it was beneficial to this particular project. And so that's, you know, that was part and parcel in helping getting it built.
Thank you.
That sounds very good. I think everybody's had a chance to ask their questions, so I just want to thank you for coming out and joining in electronically and spreading your knowledge amongst us.
Well,
So,
thank
you very
you
much.
for having me, because you know, it's a great opportunity, and you know, let's keep our fingers and toes crossed, and if we're successful, I'll be back. I'll be back with an official request for a public consultation and a public meeting, so we can share the good news with your citizens and let everybody know how we're going to do the project. So stay tuned.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you,
Bye.
Susan.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is report from municipal officers, and we have a written report from Jacob in our package, I believe. Yep. I think everybody's had a chance to view that. Oh, there's Dan. I didn't see you before,
sorry.
Dan.
I didn't realize my video wasn't on. Sorry about that.
Oh. Okay, so we'll move on to next item on the agenda then. And that's reports from committees, and I understand we had an ad hoc public swimming access committee meeting. And am I correct that you're going to give us a report, Heather?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so it was really, really positive. Everybody basically wanted the same thing. Nobody wanted any improvement or development of it. Probably just a little bit, just a little zhuzh up. So some of the suggestions is that, and I was really glad that Chris and Jake attended because, Chris answered things right away. Jacob already had things in mind. So basically whatever we suggested is pretty much already in the works as long as council goes along with it. And I'll just tell you the suggestions. Okay, so parking was an issue and it's pretty much resolved now. The survey was an issue that's been resolved, and with the rock barrier put in by our roads department, that was great. So the fire ramp, we need to put signage saying that it was you have to be able to move your car. You can't leave unattended parking, no overnight parking. We don't want it to be the sign everywhere sign, but just clear signage saying, no unattended vehicles and no overnight parking. And then probably installing a garbage can would alleviate a lot of the problems too. Jonathan, Mr. Richardson, he really wants us to instill a sense of pride and ownership of our area. So he really wants us to share with the community that this is an asset that we have that we need to, take care of. And I said nurse, and we've probably been ignoring it just a little bit. And maybe if we just paid a little bit more attention to it and, be proud of that, our little gem. So he thought maybe we can share it in a newsletter. So basically we just need a garbage can, butt can. There were concerns about the fires as well. And so I asked if that was more the exception than the rule. And he really didn't know that. Ms. Van Shea didn't come. And so he was going to ask her a lot of questions. And he didn't understand why she didn't come either. But basically, it's going to be a really, really easy and good fix. And thank God our township's proactive. Our employees did a good job. So basically, if we can we'll find out from Mr. Richardson what Ms. Van Shea said or feels, and perhaps she can come with us to the next meeting and just to zhuzh up and make sure if there's no other concerns. We did have some concerns with people walking across the road and, pedestrians, and that I brought up in the past about the S-Bend going to a tiny bridge with people walking around. That's, still an issue, but hopefully it won't be that busy, but maybe in the future we can look at lowering the speed limit there, but that's just where we're at right now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sounds like it was a very positive meeting.
It was fantastic. It was really good.
Great.
Did I miss anything, Cindy?
The only thing that I would add is that the next step that we're in the process of doing is building the plan. So a project plan for the public swimming access. That's our next step.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Heather? Sandy?
No, it was all really good points, and I'm glad that it went well. It's a positive for our community for sure. Thank you, Heather.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Dan, anything you'd like to ask?
It was good that it was positive experience. I'm happy to hear that. Can you just give us more detail on how the parking issue was resolved?
Well, Dean said that perhaps because there's only one or two people there, they can, with the improvements they made for the driveway, with installing the fire ramp there for the filling station, it's a lot safer for people with cars to get down to the actual bottom, closer to the beach, so they're not parking on the road anymore. And just for, my own little test, I took my little car down there to make sure that, yeah, you can take any little car down there. Just because Chris fixed the road to go down there, they're not having to park on the road anymore. So, thumbs up.
Good. Did that telephone pole ever get moved, do you know?
No, it's still there. So that's a little frustrating. They were supposed to take it away last year. So it will make a big difference when they do, and maybe we can be a little bit more proactive and push them in the right direction.
Perhaps someone can follow up on that. Could we get someone to follow up on that to see what happened with it? I know that's probably Chris's job, but I know he was looking into it and he had it all set up to be moved. Maybe he could check on that, see how it's coming along. He may have forgotten.
No, he didn't forget, I'm
Great.
sure, but
I mean,
You're
not him,
right.
but the people that were, yes. Great,
yeah,
good work.
thanks.
Do you have anything you'd like to add, Dean?
Just I'm looking forward to getting a report. I like what I hear, and I think that that's a good start. So thank you, Heather, and everyone else
Yeah.
involved in the committee.
Yeah, I'd like to just offer my thanks again. It sounds like it was very good meeting.
It was.
Okay, so we'll move on to next item on the agenda. That's adopt the minutes of Tuesday, January 12th, 2021 meeting. So we should have a resolution. I need a mover and a seconder for this. So Sandy, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and Dean, could you second it, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have this resolution moved by Sandy, seconded by Dean, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, January the 12th, 2021, be hereby adopted and signed as circulated. Can we have that date changed there, please?
Which date?
January 12th, 2021, instead of 2020?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay. So is there any discussion required? Sandy?
No, not at this time.
Dan?
No discussion?
Heather?
No discussion.
And Dean?
No discussion.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a vote to accept the minutes. Sandy, do you vote yes or no to accept the minutes?
Yes, I do.
And Dan?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
And Dean?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I vote yes as well. So these resolution is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda is a report from the clerk treasurer, 2021 CT01, background information for the citing policy. That was included in our package. It was mostly informational. Sandy, do you have anything you'd like to ask about that?
No, I thought that the citing policy that she made is, I had two questions. In our local area, do other municipalities, do you know of, already have a citing policy made up? And was this one kind of made by taking aspects from other ones? Because it was very thorough. It looked very well.
Can you answer to that, Cindy?
The first question, I do not know. As far as I know, other municipalities do not have a citing policy, but I don't know that 100%. That hasn't been shared amongst the municipalities that were on the broadband committee. Where this particular draft citing policy came from was it came from Susan Church. I didn't write it. It came from Susan Church. She has prepared it, and it's been used in a multitude of other municipalities when other municipalities are looking to put something together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Sandy?
Yes, it does.
Dan, you have anything you'd like to add?
No questions, no.
Okay, Heather?
Well, I did. But Susan Church, thank God, she came and she educated me, and that was the whole point. And she answered all my questions. So thank you for putting it together, and thanks Dean to bring the other information forward. So now we know, because it did look like we were going to have, it looked like a harder, you know, don't, it looked to me like don't build here, because we'll have to ask you more questions, but I didn't know it was an either or thing. So that's it. It was good. Good discussion.
Okay, thank you. Dean, anything further?
Just wanted the council to consider one thing, and it's not a negative. I just want to bring it to attention because I think it's relevant. Is that by adopting our own policy, if we're not layering policies, like she explained, so they do one or the other, we're also, this policy doesn't come without work. And so, you know, I don't believe this is going to prevent me from supporting it. I just want to bring it to your attention if others consider it. But so we're essentially taking Industry Canada's role, I suppose, and doing the regulation on our side. So if it you know helps projects come along and makes it easier, I am in favor of that. But we are taking on a bit more responsibility as well in terms of staffing requirements and effort. So I mean, I still think it's a positive thing. It's just something to consider. And I did notice what I thought was an inconsistency in the policy. And so I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but if we look at section 4, classification of structures, I want to make sure that there's not just like a typo or maybe I'm misreading.
Whereabouts, Dean?
So page 5, classification of structures, it says significant structure about halfway on the page.
Okay.
And it says the tower 15 meters in height or greater are considered significant structures. And then on the following page, page 6, number B, public consultation. A, it says for significant towers of 30 meters in height or more, a notice in accordance with the municipality's communications policy advising time, date, and location, neighborhood. It says, so if you read that first sentence, it says public meetings are required when new structures are proposed which meet the criteria as being significant. Well, I guess that could they both be 15 or not, I guess is my question. Because it says that if it's considered significant, you would need to do these things. But there's 15 meters and then there's 30 meters. You know, but that was all.
I'm having a real difficult time hearing. It's the shuffling of papers near a microphone or something. I'm only getting half of what Dean said.
Sorry, I can just, maybe it's my papers. I'm just trying to clarify significant structure is a tower 15 meters or greater on page 5, and then on page 6. Just it mentions towers 30 meters in height. So I didn't know if it should be consistent or if it matters. I'm having a hard time interpreting that.
I suppose when we make a final draft, we can make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's.
Well, there's a B part to that one too, right? And it's saying about additional things that need to be done if a tower is 30 meters in height or more, right? You have to mail stuff out to neighboring people and more than that. The first one just says the tower is 15 meters in height or greater requires consultation, public consultation required. So I don't know what public consultation required. I don't know what a public consultation is exactly, like the definition of that. But the other one is a lot more detailed, the 30 meters in height.
Yeah, just what my question is, if Mayor Pennell, if you look, it calls it a significant structure. Is meters.
Can you lean a little bit closer to your mic, please?
Sure, having a hard time hearing.
Yes,
The
sir.
significant structure, it says a significant structure is 15 meters, and then it says that it has to, number 8, then it says being significant in quotations. So to me, it sounds like anything over 15 meters would have to abide by number 8. Then it adds in the 30 meter. I don't know. We could ask Susan, I guess, is my point.
Yeah. We definitely have to ask somebody with knowledge because.
Yeah. Thank you. It's just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
We can follow up with Susan and just get a clarification.
Good point. Is there anything else in there that anyone wants to discuss in that citing policy? Sandy?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And Dan? Okay.
Microphone's off.
I think he said no, though.
Yeah, I said no.
Okay, thank you. And Heather?
Nope.
Okay, and Dean?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dean. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. I think we looked at 2 there, right? We looked at B and C?
Yeah.
So the next item on the agenda is B and C, is bylaw number 2021-001. It's a bylaw to declaring the proceedings of council for the 4th quarter, October the 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. And this would be the 3rd reading. Excuse me, so I'll need a mover and a seconder on this one, please. So Dan, can you move this one, please?
Yes, can.
And Heather, could you second it, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a 3rd reading. We have moved by Dan, seconded by Heather, being a bylaw to explain the proceedings of council, as reported by the Committee of the Whole, to be read a 3rd time, passed in number 2021-001, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any discussion? Sandy?
No discussion.
Dan?
No discussion.
Heather?
No discussion.
And Dean?
No discussion.
Thank you. So we're going to call this to a vote to accept the 3rd reading. Councillor Croft, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So the 3rd reading is passed. Thank you very much, everyone. Next item on the agenda is report from the clerk treasurer. It's 2021 CT02 report to council, the annual boring bylaw. So everyone's had a chance to look at that one. It was in their council package. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Any questions out of that? Councillor Croft?
No questions.
Councillor Maxwell?
No questions.
And Councillor Olmsted?
Well, yes, actually. Well, I had a lot of questions and Cindy answered them. Thank you very much for this report. This is where my mind was going because we haven't changed it in so many years. And as we can clearly see, our expenses hasn't been going up. And in mine, it's just good bookkeeping to keep something as an insurance policy. So, the numbers there speak for itself, the average monthly expenditures. So we do need to raise it. There are other ways. I think it's just an easier thing. It doesn't cost any money. It doesn't really take any extra paperwork just to raise it from 100,000 to 150 or 200,000. But I want to see what everybody else thinks now when they have this information. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Grant, your thoughts?
I had a question for Cindy. We've never really used this because obviously we have money that we're paying bills with. How much buffer do we have to pay the bills moving forward until the first, like starting January 1st? How many funds do we have in order to get to our first tax collection?
Well, that kind of depends on the time of the year. As of January, I'm sorry, I don't know the number off the top of my head. I don't know what it is, but in our bank account, there's the reserve funds, there's what we have from leftover from taxes of bills we haven't paid. Usually there's quite like hundreds of thousands of dollars as a buffer. I can't tell you exactly what it is at this particular moment. Sorry, I didn't look that up. So, but
no, I guess just in a generality, like I was assuming there would, be 500,000, something around that number to get us through. And I guess another question is, there is a recommendation here, but okay. I think I guess that was my main question was, we have enough reserves usually to make it. This is a buffer, and I'm prepared with that information. Thank you.
As Councillor Olmsted mentioned, it's kind of like an insurance policy. It's just in the event that we don't have. If we're doing things properly, there are unforeseen circumstances that will always crop up, things like COVID-19 or, things like that we can't plan for. Or the one example that I'm aware of that we used this funding where, we were building a bridge and the funding from the government was delayed and, those types of things. So, but that wasn't even for an extended period of time. It was a month or two from what I was told. So it's more or less just an insurance policy.
Okay. Okay, so let's move ahead then and see what we're going to do here. With the next one. So the bylaw comes up for a third reading, and it'll be open for discussion as well after I get a mover and seconder report. So can I get a mover and a seconder for this one? Councillor Maxwell, can you move this one, please?
Yes, Ken.
Thank you. And Councillor Cross, could you second this one, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have the third reading of this bylaw to authorize the borrowing of funds, if necessary, to meet current expenditures until taxes are collected and other revenues are received, and commonly called the annual borrowing bylaw. Sandy, do you have anything that you'd like to offer or your point of view on this one, please?
Well, I appreciate Heather's concerns and very valid points, but I also think Cindy had mentioned that we could apply for this at any time if needed. So we've only used it once. I'm okay with it the way it is. And if it does happen to, I mean, I don't see why do the work if it's not needed at the time. If it's a matter of just making an application to the bank, if it is ever needed, then we would do it then.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Maxwell, your thoughts?
I had a similar comment as Sandy that we can use it when we need it. We can increase if we have to. The last statement of the report mentions that, the last paragraph. And so I think that we could pass it the way it is. And in the event that we need more money, we can always just apply for it again, ask for an increase. And it's because the likelihood that we're not going to need it this year. And we can kind of see what's coming down the pipeline, and I don't see any surprises coming. We already have COVID as a surprise, and I don't think we have any projects on the go that are going to put us into that situation. So I feel fine with the bylaw the way it is.
Great, thank you, Dan. Heather, any further thoughts? Or?
Yeah, I do. Just to answer their questions, not to seem like a broken record, but if you go to the bank and ask for a loan after you're already bankrupt, you're not going to get approved. We're in a good place now. It's going to be easy paperwork. If we get to a place where we need it and then we ask for it, the bank's going to say no. But that's okay. Whatever. That's my stance. I just want to be responsible.
Councillor Grant.
I think Councillor Olmsted makes some good points there, and I'm going to take I want to take the recommendation in front of us, and that being to approve this as is, and to review, have a quick review in the fall. And I think the reason being is fall's a good time to anticipate. If there's any anticipation of costs in the spring. Projects or things pre-budget. It's not likely, but you know, I think that makes sense. So that's my feelings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I don't think just to speak to the bankruptcy thing. I don't think we're going to be bankrupt in the
Well,
spring.
no,
I
understand
right?
that.
Bankrupt is a long way away. So I'm going to call for a vote on whether we pass this third reading or not. So Councillor Cross, do you vote to pass it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
Councillor Grant?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes as well. So the third reading is passed and the bylaw is passed. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the 2021-003. It's the bylaw to provide for interim tax levy, penalty, and interest for 2021. This is the third reading as well. So I'll need a mover and a seconder on this one as well. Councillor Olmsted, can you move this one?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And Councillor Grant, could you second this one?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Okay, so we have moved by Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor Grant. This is a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy and to provide for the payment of taxes and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2021. So I'm going to call see if there's any discussion. Again, this is the third reading. Councillor Cross, do you have anything further that you'd like to add?
No discussion.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion.
Thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
Thank you. And Councillor Grant?
No discussion.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to bring this to a vote to pass the third reading on this one. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no to pass the third reading?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Maxwell, do you vote yes or no to pass the third reading?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. And Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant? Okay, I guess I vote yes as well. So that this bylaw 2021-003 is passed. Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just get clarification? How did Councillor Grant vote?
Voted yes.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time hearing conversation from there. It seems
Is
like
my
it's
audio-
cutting.
My audio is poor then?
Yeah. At least I don't hear it all.
I'll
I
try
think-
headphones. I'm gonna try and grab a set of headphones.
Okay. I'll go for it.
Gonna work any better? I hope. Test.
Yeah, that's really good.
Very
Dean.
clear.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sounds
I'll
like you're
just
sitting
use
on
the
many.
I'll use the
So
headphones
we'll go on
then.
to the next item on the agenda, and that's the resolution support for financing for Castle Home redevelopment project. There's been a lot of communication from all the municipalities, and no one is in agreement with the options they provided. So everyone's basically providing this resolution back to Castle Home to go back to the government and try find a different way to fund the project. Okay. So I'll get a mover and a seconder on this, and then we can have further discussion. All right. Mover, can I get Dean? Can you move this one, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. And Dan, can you second this one, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a mover and a seconder, moved by Dean, second by Dan. Is there any discussion in here that anyone wants to bring up or talk about? Councillor Cross.
I'd just like to clarify that reading it now with that change that Councillor Grant suggested, it reads much better. So I'm glad that he suggested it and we changed it. That's all.
Okay. Councillor Maxwell?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
I agree with Sandy. I like it.
Okay, and Councillor Grant?
I noticed that the other municipalities didn't make the change, but I think that we're better off to have made it, and I appreciate the support. It's a small thing, but the words do matter, and hopefully we can, convey our seriousness and get some more information from them so we can make good decisions. Thank you.
And thank you. So I'm going to bring this one to vote to carry it. So Councillor Cross, you vote yes or no to carry this?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda was a report from Cindy, Clerk Treasurer, regarding the Emergency Control Group meeting on January 13th. Is there anything in there that anyone has any questions about? Councillor Cross?
No questions.
Councillor Maxwell?
Now, well, there's probably not an answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. I notice he says that the public is going to receive the vaccine by the end of the summer. Do you know when the firefighters will be receiving it? It says when it's available. Any idea in terms of date when that would be available? Have we had any indications
No, Rainey didn't have any.
on when our firefighters will be able to get the vaccine?
Yeah, Rainey didn't have anything definite at that meeting. It was just actually released that day or the day before that the firefighters were included, so there was very little detail. Do you have anything further on that, Cindy?
No, sorry.
Okay.
No.
Anything further, Dan?
Yes. Okay. I know. Thank you. That's everything.
Councillor Olmsted?
No, nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, and Councillor Grant?
Nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. The only thing I can add, and it's not from the meeting, is just that the government extended their lockdown until February the 9th. I think that was yesterday they did that. I thought it was the 9th already, but it was the 9th for Southern Ontario. So anyway, we've been extended to the 9th as well. Okay. The control group. Okay, next item on the agenda is a resolution to stand up the Recreation Committee. So I need a mover and a seconder for this. Sandy, can I get you to move that, please?
Yes.
And Heather, can I get you to second it?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Sandy and seconded by Heather. As for bylaw 2015-019, the Recreation Committee mandate contained. Schedule A of the bylaw 2008-008, Municipality of Caledon Recreation Committee will be split up, and council hereby appoints the following members of council to the newly formed Recreation Committee. Do we have any members that are volunteering for that appointment?
I am, but
Councillor Cross?
No.
Are you volunteering? No? Okay. Councillor Maxwell?
Sorry, not interested this time. Don't know.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Olmsted, I've seen your hand up there.
yeah, can we, until, like, we can't have any, we're in a state of emergency, so can we just bring this back when it's more appropriate? Because we're not allowed to gather or anything, we can't have groups of 5. Can we bring this back at a further time when it's appropriate? So,
So you want to defer it?
yeah, until we bring it back when it's, everything kind of goes semi back to normal.
So can we rely on you to bring it back
Yes,
when you feel it's appropriate?
yes, if you could, that
Okay.
would be very, very much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. You're okay with that, Dean?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that it be deferred until a councillor brings it back. So I'm more than okay with that. Thank you.
Okay, Sandy, are you willing to do that as well?
Yes, I wasn't interested in a rec committee at this point with us being in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, definitely defer.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Maxwell, are you in agreement to defer to a later date?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As well am I. So I guess we'll just defer to a later date. Do we have to have a definite date in there? I don't think so, right? When it's
No, we
appropriate,
don't
then
have
we'll
to have
come
a date.
back.
I'll say when pandemic is over.
Okay,
Well, when
Can we just say later date and just leave it? That's my suggestion.
okay. So I'm gonna have a vote on that, okay? Councillor Cross, do you vote yes to defer it?
Yes.
sorry,
Okay, and Councillor Maxwell, officially, yes?
Yes.
And Councillor Olmsted,
Yes.
and Councillor Grant.
Yes, I'm just waiting for Cindy to catch up.
Okay, and I vote yes as well. To defer this resolution to a later date is approved and passed by the majority of council. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is notification of presentation of Integrity Commission report at the February 9th, 2021 regular council meeting. So that's basically a notification thing. And there was an item in our package that's just basically a little bit more formal than this one-liner that's in the agenda. Okay?
Mayor Pennell?
Yes.
Just for clarification, because it doesn't specifically state it in this letter, they're asking us for a date. The date that it will be provided or presented, excuse me, will be at the February 9th regular council meeting. And the council meeting begins as normal at 7 o'clock.
Okay. So where do you see in here it's asking us for a date? Oh, okay, push the butter off for the date. Okay. Pretty straightforward. So the 9th is good?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do the 9th. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is L, and that's discussion on closure of the rink and future maintenance. I'm thinking that is, if the pandemic continues, which would keep the rink shut down, basically, like the stay-at-home part of the pandemic. Do we want to continue to maintain the rink at that time? So that's open to everyone. Sandy, how do you feel on that?
I think with the efforts that they have already put in, I'm hoping for the best that we'll be able to reopen it. I'd like to see it not become a priority to keep it going, but in the spare time to make sure the rink is still being kept up, but it not be a priority, just in case things do get to open up. And I mean, Family Fun Day, I know that's not going to be a possibility, but if we could do like a sign-up sheet for people to have the rink to themselves for if there's a limit to 5 people, or even just a family, we could do a sign up sheet where people can have access to the rink at that specific time. I'd hate to see that all of the efforts that everybody, council and staff, has put into bringing the rink to the, having it in as early as we did this year and the upkeep. I'd like to, support it still.
Okay. Councillor Maxwell?
I think that by the time we open again in February, if the weather doesn't turn on us quickly, I think the enthusiasm of these skaters will probably be gone. Once spring comes around, people start looking towards doing other things. I think skating kind of loses interest. So I'm not in support of keeping the rink going. I suggest we just abandon it now. The only problem is that we have staff assigned to do that work right now. So my question is, like, what will the staff do if they're not doing the rink? If they're not maintaining the rink. So probably we should discuss some type of reassignment of their duties if there is no rink to be maintained. But I'm not in favor of maintaining the rink. I just don't see the value of it. We may have a week or two after February, but once March comes around, people are thinking summer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can be convinced. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I mean, I don't think it's going to cost us much to maintain neither at the same point because our staff are going to pay them anyway. So I look forward to hear what everybody else has to say.
Okay. Councillor Olmsted?
I think it's a waste of resources. Yeah, I'm sad. I know we put a lot of time, energy, and money into it, but by the time everything's getting extended to another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks, and I like a lot of Sandy's ideas, except we can't enforce them, and leaves us to a lot of vulnerability, liability-wise. So no, I don't want to keep it up. I do want to, but it has to go. Sorry.
Okay, Councillor Grant?
So my thoughts are that I'm pessimistic in that I don't think that there's going to be much ice time on the rink, but you don't know that. But we are pushed back already to February 9th. I'd like to see it. I guess maybe I'm going to try and weave a thread between some of the councilors' comments here. What if is it possible that we make the rink a very low priority? The ice is in and it's frozen. And if we let the snow stack up and February 9th is the last day, maybe we can clear that snow and have something left. I don't want to see it destroyed. However, it should be an extremely low priority. And I would love to have a discussion about how we're going to utilize those resources as well to make sure that other things are getting done. That's my thoughts. Thank you.
Resources aren't on the agenda. It's the rink that's on the agenda right now. And that will be up to the management, how those resources are going to be scheduled. So I think everybody's kind of decided that not to put a lot into it. We can't decide on it at this meeting tonight. We'd have to bring a resolution back at the next meeting to make a decision on what we do at the rink. So I think if we bring a resolution back in 2 weeks, okay, to say shut down the rink, all right? Then if something happens within the next 2 weeks regarding the pandemic getting lifted or the government, not the government, basically the Nipissing Health Unit, Dr. Chirico changes his mind about rinks and tobogganing and that sort of stuff, then we can review it again at that time. All right. I'm hoping everybody would be in agreement to that. I'll bring it back at the next meeting as a resolution to close the rink down. And if something happens in the meantime, we can vote it down at that time and continue with the rink. Are you okay with that, Councillor Cross?
Yes, very valid.
You okay with that, Councillor Maxwell?
I think I understood what you're saying. The only thing I would like to see that the snow not be removed from it. The snow would actually protect it as well if it's left without the snow removal. So if they continue to remove the snow, it seems that it's open, and because it's not police, people do show up. And I think I saw somewhere that somebody was skating on it, and when it was actually closed, so people are saying, well, maybe it is open. So I think one good way of showing that it's closed is by not removing the snow, or it's closed temporarily, and then we could always just get the snow off it and bring it back if possible in end of February, or middle of February.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's what you said, but
Yeah. So, Councilor Olmsted, you okay with that part?
Yeah, I am. That's good. Thank you.
And Councilor Grant?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Okay, so can we bring that back as a resolution in the next meeting to close the rink down? And then we can discuss it and vote on that resolution at that time, please?
No problem.
Thank you. There's a couple educational things in the agenda, off the cuff, and Municipal World Podcast. Anybody have any comments on those? Sandy?
No, I don't.
Councilor Maxwell?
no comment, no.
Councilor Olmsted?
No comment.
And Councilor Grant?
No discussion.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is information letters. There are a number of them there. Sandy, is there anything in there that you want to discuss?
I did have a question. There was a letter in there from the MFOA about looking for support for, or I don't know if they were looking for support, if we for an extension, or was that just more of an informational letter? Like, should we support that, or Cindy? That's a question for Cindy. And I was a little curious to why they're looking for support. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to support that if everybody's in agreement. And I was a little confused to why the Ministry of Finance had a report in there from November 17th, 2020. It seemed kind of late. And I was also questioning the police service advisor. What are we doing with that?
We don't have to do anything with that one.
No? Okay.
Just a further comment on that, Mayor Pennell, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just so that council is aware, I did contact the secretary for the Police Services Board in that regard, and offered that if they were going to put it out to the public to obtain a public representative, that we could put it on our different platforms, our website, in our flyer, that type of thing. The response I received back was that they will contact us when they have their next meeting.
Okay. So we're going to offer support for that one that Sandy was mentioning? I don't know which one it is.
Me neither. What number was it?
I don't know.
It had to do
F as in
with
Frank.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
F as in Frank.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually had that marked up. Okay, yes, I did. I agree with that. Yes.
We put in our own resolution for that, didn't we, at our last meeting?
No.
Pretty sure we did.
No, that was asking for more time for applying for grants, I think, was the last one.
Oh, yeah, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Anything else in there, Sandy?
No.
Councilor Maxwell?
I didn't see anything other than was mentioned. There was something about I'm not sure if we're hiring a student this summer or not, but there was the summer student program for hiring a student. They pay 50%. I've never had any luck with that program myself, but maybe the township would have better luck with it. I don't know if you want to apply for that or not, but it's maybe Cindy can speak to that. If it's worthwhile.
Unfortunately, we've not had very much success with it either. There are certain criteria that they require, and unfortunately, most of the time we can't meet them. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I wouldn't bother with it then, personally. And nothing else?
Counselor- Oh, sorry. You have anything else, Dan?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay. Counselor Olmsted?
I would like to support the Township of Lauder Lake, the municipal insurance costs. We need to be more proactive. We need to have the government rein these guys in, because they're going to double and triple our insurance, and we're not going to have any choice. So I think we need to ask the government for more legislation and regulations for the insurance. It just seems like we have no control. So I like to support that. And then there was the business here. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I got my papers here. Okay, so we have they're reducing the business tax by 0.88%, and we have to rebate that to all our businessmen. I was wondering how that will impact our bottom line. And I know it's going to be I don't know how big of a task it's going to be for you, Cindy. I was concerned with that. And the other one is who we give our tax base to for Catholic and public school as a municipality, because I don't know that. Do we pay school taxes as a municipality? Are we considered a business? That's just me ignorant, but I would like to educate myself about that.
Mayor Pennell, do you mind if I respond?
Please do.
So in terms of the BET, the business taxes, educational taxes, we don't have any control over that. How it affects our bottom line, it doesn't affect our bottom line because it's an educational tax. It's an educational tax, so we wouldn't receive it. It's to do with the educational portion of the taxes that we collect. We do collect that from everyone, but a certain portion of it is paid to the school boards. And yes, we do pay the school boards. So on a quarterly basis, usually when we have a very high disbursement value, when it's in the $100,000, that's usually when we pay the school board taxes. We do it on a quarterly basis.
Okay. All right, thanks. It was just really interesting read. That's all I have.
Councilor Grant?
No, I don't have anything in information letters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There was one other thing in there. It was about the firefighter training. They were going to take it away from one school and put it out to, I believe, 20. So that might make training more available to the smaller areas. And they could even come to that area and do the training at the center, apparently. Okay.
Mayor Pennell, can I just get clarification?
Yes.
So are we supporting the resolution for the extension to ORIG number 588, as well as supporting resolution from the Township of Lauder Lake in regards to insurance costs?
That was my understanding.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is information letters available, Stewardship Ontario Blue Box Program Transition and Stewardship Ontario Wind Up Plan. next item on the agenda is old and new business. Sandy, would you have anything old or new?
No.
Dan, would you have anything old or new? Hello, Dan? Oh, he might have froze
Nothing.
up.
Nothing. No news.
Okay. Your
I
video is
must
froze.
be.
Okay. Councilor Olmsted,
Nope.
anything old or new?
No.
Okay, and Councilor Grant, anything old or new?
I did just want to have a brief discussion
I'll
about,
try,
is Dan with us still?
and this, our old business.
I'm not
I think
sure
he
what
said
he
it has
said.
nothing,
Okay, I thought
nothing
he
to do
said
with
that
old and new
already.
business, I think.
Okay, Councilor Grant.
Is Dan still with us though? Should we pause for a minute or two, or should I continue?
Are you still there, Dan?
Here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I am.
So I just wanted to have a brief discussion about waxing and stripping floors. I know last year that we deferred that, and I was interested in, ensuring that that's done, I suppose, in a efficient way. I was worried also that I was wondering what the conditions would be, considering this hall seen very little use, whether it needed to be done, and. I guess I'm hoping to get if they move forward, I'm hoping to get a report to see, how that went and how things were being utilized, because some of the research I did not fall in line with the 2-week time period. And, I have more questions than answers at this point, but I think it'd be useful, to look at that service and how we're providing it possibly, and, go from there. So I'd like more information on that as it unfolds. Thank you.
Okay. Would you be able to develop something for us, Cindy? Or to work with Jacob to do that?
Yes, I can work with Jacob.
Thank you. Does that meet your needs, Dean?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything old or new, Cindy?
No, I do not.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the account approval report. So I need a mover and a seconder for this. Councilor Olmsted, could you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. And Councilor Maxwell, could you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councilor Olmsted, seconded by Councilor Maxwell, that the disbursements dated January 21st, 2021 in the amount of $38,445.45 and January 26th, 2021 in the amount of $4,169.06 be hereby authorized for payment. Any discussion on that, Councilor Cross?
I did have one question. Under the hydro for rec and the rink, I was looking at the costs there. I don't know if it's possible maybe at the next meeting to have, or if Jacob could tell me now, what is actually entailing for the, what uses for the ice rink? I know it'd probably be the lights. It just seems high to me. I guess I'm being nosy. I just not sure of, is it a 1 month bill? Is it a 2 months bill? Is this the electric heater in the bathroom, in the changing room as well?
looking for,
I'm here if you would like.
Okay.
I'm here if you'd like me to answer that. It would include, I believe that one would be the first portion of the lights being on through December and January before they're turned off. That would also include the change room heater. And that would include some heat in the shop/storage area because we do store stuff out there that can't freeze. We keep it at a minimal temperature in the shop. And that's with the old electric heater in there. Is there any
Thank you,
further
Jacob.
question about that?
No, I just kind of wanted the breakdown of why the cost was like, not like why, but what it is, what is the usage, what's using that electricity to make that bill.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious.
Okay, and I forgot, there was also a period where we had plugged in an electric heater in the baseball room to keep the snow blower from freezing up, or so that the snow and stuff would thaw off of it while the volunteers were cleaning the rink over the Christmas break. So that room is uninsulated. But we didn't have enough keys to the other room to give out to volunteers at the time. So we tried to do the best we could.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Any questions on this first, Dan? Oh.
I think we lost
Dan,
him.
are you? Dan, are you there?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, now.
Losing my connection, I don't know why, but. Yeah. Here?
Can't hear you, Dan.
Try
Is it-
to move. Maybe I'll move through. See that meeting.
I think I heard him say he's moving to a better position.
Mayor Pennell,
So, yeah.
if the connection remains weak, maybe we could suggest he call in as well, just so that we can still have good audio, because it was pretty bad. He
Yep.
can't get a better connection.
There's a whole bunch of the North
Can you hear me now?
North states. Yes. Welcome back. Do you have any questions in regard to the disbursements, Dan? Okay, let's take 10.
Hey.
Hello, Dan.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Can you turn your video on if possible?
Yeah, I got it on. I can't see any of you. I see the disbursements are up. Is that what we're working on?
Yes.
Yeah, we're just wondering if you have any anything you want to offer in regard to the disbursements.
No, nothing to add.
Okay, thank you. Heather, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
And Dean, any questions or?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this to a vote to pass this resolution for payment. Councillor Cross, you vote yes or no to pass this resolution?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell,
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted,
Yes.
and Councillor Grant.
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the closed portion of the meeting. And it's 8:30. Does anybody want to need a break or something before we get into the closed portion? I don't see any nods there, so okay.
We have to pass this particular resolution first.
Okay, we can do that.
And we did get a nod.
If I could just get 4 or 5 minutes, but we could do that as I log in to the next meeting will be more than sufficient if that's okay.
So we'll pass this, we'll close this, okay? And we'll take, 10-minute break? And then we'll come back in the closed portion? Okay?
Sure.
We'll need a mover and a seconder. Dean, can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Sandy, can you second this one, please?
Yes, I can.
So we have, I'm dry. Have moved by Dean, seconded by Sandy, that this portion of the meeting now be closed under Municipal Act 2001 as per section 239(2)D, labor relations or employee negotiations. Excuse me, and section 239(2)D, personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Any discussion, Sandy?
No discussion.
Dan?
No.
Heather?
No discussion.
And Dean?
No discussion.
Okay, so we'll call for a vote to move to close portion. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well, so this resolution is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's 8:32. Let's come back at 8:42. That work?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. We'll have to log off and log back on again, right?
Correct.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Aye.
Hmm.